Hello everybody, this is Captain Jerwa bringing you another Pokemon Showdown battle. And this one is with a Sun team that I've used before, but I'm going to go over it anyway. This was made by Superfective87, and he used two of my favorite Pokemon, which are Zapdos and Slowking. They're both great tanks in OU because of their typing, and have good coverage also, and it's a standard Ninetales, except instead of Solar Beam, that's a Growth, 3 attacks Modest Venusaur with Life Orb, standard defensive Donphan, and Choice Scarf Terrakion to kind of deal with Volcarona and for good fighting coverage, because it's always good to have fighting coverage on a Sun team. And my opponent has a pretty standard Sand team, which this team can sometimes have trouble with. Usually it does the best against weatherless teams, obviously, and yeah, sand teams can usually be somewhat of a problem. But a certain Pokemon on this team that is not a sweeper at all is going to do a lot of work. So anyway, let's just get right into this battle. Okay, so I just decided to lead off with Terrakion, because I thought he might lead off with Tyranitar, but no, he leads off with Infernape. And in all my other battles, I was so used to using Choice Band Terrakion that I just close combat first turn, thinking I could just take him out. And if he was Focus Sash or Scarf, then I was just gonna risk it. But it turns out I don't kill him, which I was like, what? How does that not kill? I don't understand it. I calced that Choice Band did damage against Infernape, and I was like, is he defensive? Like, what is this? But yeah, I'm Scarfed, so I'm an idiot. But anyway, I send in Donphan, and I just go for the Stealth Rocks on the obvious switch, because it's always good to have those up, because even if it doesn't have anything weak to him, Landorus and Scizor cannot switch around infinitely, at least, so that's good. But anyway, on his Keldeo, I go into Slowking, because, you know, people say Jellicent, Tentacruel are great Keldeo counters, but they never mention freaking Slowking, man. Slowking is great in OU. But yeah, I bring in Slowking, and I know he could just go into Tyranitar and, like, Pursuit Trap me now, so I just double switch into my Donphan on that Tyranitar, because, you know, because now that Terrakion's gone, basically the only thing I have to handle this T-Tar is Donphan, and I can kind of use Venusaur, but I can't really take a hit. But just go for the Earthquake, not going to predict anything just yet, and he just decides to sack his Infernape, which was a good play. I mean, Stealth Rocks were up, he did have that Death Fodder, and he didn't want anything to take an Earthquake. I mean, Landorus could, but I can Ice Shard that, bleh. But anyway, he goes into Scizor. He just wants to U-turn to break my Sturdy, but I don't want my Sturdy gone just yet, and I thought he might, like, go for a Superpower or something, so I go into Zapdos, but no, he just U-turns. That's fine. I do have Zapdos and Ninetales for that Scizor, and he doesn't have Rocks up, so those can both just switch in fairly, they can switch in without any trouble. But he brings in Terrakion, and I just go straight into Donphan, because Donphan is a great checked Terrakion, unless it's banned in close combat. But based on the Stone Edge damage, since it only did 15%, that is definitely Choice Scarf or just not banded Terrakion, because banded Stone Edge does like 20 to like 25%. And yeah, this time I predict his Landorus to switch in, so I go for the Ice Shard on the switch, which is very crucial, because what his plan was to switch in on an Earthquake and then take one Ice Shard and take me out, but now he can't do that. So Donphan is going to get back up to Sturdy, and now can continue doing work on his team, because now I just predict his Keldeo to come in. And now if I wanted, now that I'm back up to Sturdy, I could take him out. So Donphan is doing heavy work now that I made those very aggressive predictions that really could have blown up in my face, but thankfully I got those predictions right. But anyway, I'm just going to go back into Slowking. I don't want my Donphan to be down to Sturdy yet, because I still have Slowking and Venusaur for Keldeo, and that would just be a needless risk. So I go into Slowking on the Surf, and I stay in this turn and go for the Scald, predicting the T-Tar to come in, and that might not have been too smart, but he does just stay in. And then, like, okay, well now he knows I'm just staying in, so I'm going to predict the T-Tar to come in this turn. And instead of going into my Donphan like I have in the past, I go into Venusaur, because I thought he might just keep staying in, even though that would be really stupid. But I go into Venusaur. It's a great middle ground. It's good against T-Tar, good against Keldeo. And this time, alright, this is good. I can get off a Venusaur, yes. I can get off a Giga Drain, live a hit, and then it'll all be dandy, right, bro? But no, it turns out that this Tyranitar is Choice Banded. And I'm not sure if that's like the specially defensive Choice Banded set or not, but because he did take that Giga Drain really, really, really well, which is unfortunate, but yeah. Anyway, I go into Donphan here on this Tyranitar, and what I should have done was gone into Zapdos and just finished him off with the Thunderbolt, because that would have been a lot smarter and my Donphan wouldn't have taken damage, because this Donphan, as seen from before, is basically like picking his entire team apart at this point, because if you look at his team, everything basically is hurt pretty bad by this thing. Like, Landorus can die to an Ice Shard, Terrakion dies to an Earthquake and can't do much damage, Scizor can't do much damage either, and his only thing is kill you, which is like, let's see, it's at not very much health. But anyway, on this Landorus here, I am just gonna predict the HP Ice and go into my Slowking, because Slowking is actually a fairly decent check to Landorus. I forget how much Earth Power does offhand. I think it's just like barely a 2-hit KO. I'm not quite sure on that, but as you're going to see, he freaking crits me with Earth Power, which really sucks, because I could have just taken him out and just had better footing, because he would have had to bring in Scizor and U-turn, and then I would have gotten switch advantage, so that kind of sucks, but it doesn't really matter, because I've got freaking Donphan, and freaking Donphan is doing so much work this battle, my lord. And I just bring in Ninetales on Scizor, because Ninetales is actually a very, very good Scizor check, because I actually have a lot of defense invested in this Actually, I didn't make the team, but Super Effective 87 put a lot of defense into this Ninetales, so yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, he misses Hydro Pump on Zapdos. As you're going to see by the damage it does now, it may not have been able to 2-hit KO after Leftovers, I'm not quite sure, although it doesn't really matter, because he has Surf and Hydro Pump, and he went for Hydro Pump instead of Surf, so it was on him that he had the chance to miss, so yeah. And anyway, I just am able to take him out, and he has 2 Pokemon left, and I have 3, but this Terrakion is a huge threat, and Scizor is also a very large offensive threat, and he takes me out with Stone Edge. I was thinking of switching into Donphan, but if he went for close combat, I would have been basically screwed. But I go into Donphan now, I know I can get off an Earthquake, but it barely just fails to take him out, which really sucks. And so I still don't want to take any hits with Donphan, so I go into Ninetales, and he crits me. Now, I did calc this, and if he got very max damage, then that crit wouldn't have mattered, but if he got any, like, damage roll besides max damage, then that crit did actually matter, so that sucks, but he either feels bad or just made a misplay and switched out into Terrakion on the Earthquake there. Superpower would have done like 27% to Donphan at that range, so I actually probably could have lived a Superpower and then a close combat, so all in all, it doesn't really make a difference, but I thought that was really cool, or that was a really cool battle, just because of how much work Donphan did. Let's see, it like killed at least 4 Pokemon. Like, what really did it was my aggressive predictions at the beginning with predicting the Landorus spot coming in and going for the Ice Shard and then going for the Earthquake to get good damage on the Keldeo, because weakening those offensive threats really got me in a good position. So take that as a lesson to always risk it. Some people will get that joke, but anyway, that's going to be it for this battle, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.